Paper Dragons. Unique dragons come alive. Comment, like, subscribe.
Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be teaching you guys how to make a paper dragon step by step. I have done a tutorial on my channel before, but it's very outdated and kind of bad quality, so this one's going to be more updated and more friendly for beginners. I'm not going to keep you guys waiting, so let's get right into it. First up, I'm going to show you the materials you'll need. So you're obviously going to need paper. I use the Sketch Premium drawing paper, but you can use printer paper if you want. Next up, you're going to need some invisible tape, a pencil, any form of coloring supplies, so this could be markers, crayons, colored pencil, the options are endless, a Sharpie or a black marker, a pair of scissors, and these last two are optional but really helpful, so a ruler and a glue stick. Alright, so the first step is going to be designing your dragon. You can just sketch out whatever you want on paper and just color it and outline it. This step is optional, but it's really helpful to have a design to go by when you're actually drawing the final draft. I also want to talk about color schemes, so I suggest picking colors that contrast with each other, so the colors will pop more throughout the dragon. I personally only use 2, 3, maybe 4 colors in a dragon, but you can use as many colors as you want. Now my design is finished. Now to start on the actual dragon, you're going to first make the base and grab one piece of paper for now. Now what you're going to want to do first is just slice the paper right in half. I personally make one half a tiny bit bigger than the other, but just half is fine. Now you're just going to take your scissors and cut it right down the line. Your paper should now be cut in half. Now we're going to put one of those halves to the side for now, and you're going to start folding one half on itself, if that makes sense. You can just follow what I'm doing here, or it could go by the exact measurements if you have a ruler, and this strip should be about 1.5 inches thick. You can take your fingernail and crease it down your fold line, and then just fold it over on itself again. Now you're going to want to take some tape, and just tape that little flap down. You should now have something that looks like this. Now you're going to do the same thing with the other piece of paper, except this one will be a little bit thinner than the other one. You can fingernail crease again, and fold it over on itself again. Then you'll tape it the same way you did with the other one. Now you should have 2 strips, one a little bit thinner than the other one. Step 1, done. Now you're going to want to take one of those strips and just fold it right in half. Just make sure the tape is on the inside of where you fold. You should have something like this. Now you're just going to do the exact same thing with the other strip. Alright, so now that that's done, you're going to take the thinner strip of the two. You're going to take your scissors and you're going to cut maybe a 1/2 inch off of the back of it. It doesn't have to be exactly a 1/2 inch, but just don't make it too short. Now you're going to grab another piece of paper. For me, I'm using some leftover scraps from another dragon. I'm using black construction paper, but since this is the inside of the mouth, you can get any colored paper, or you can just use the white paper that you have. So now you're going to take the longer / thicker triangle, or whatever you want to call it, and place the top of your hand kind of just inside it and slide it out. Then you're going to take a piece of tape and just put it on the top of the triangle to keep its shape, but don't press this down too hard. Then you're going to take your pencil and just carefully trace the edges of the triangle. Once you're done with that, you can take it off. And then you're going to want to trace maybe like a 1/4 inch ring around the edges of it, just what I'm doing here. This step does not have to be a perfect line. Then you're going to cut it out on the outer ring of the triangle. Make sure you cut it on the outer ring of the triangle. Alright, now you should have something that looks like this. Now, on your original triangle line, you're going to fold it over. This step is kind of hard to explain, so just follow what I do here. Then, if you want, you can cut the little tip of the triangle off. And you're going to do the same folding technique on the other side. Now, with your thick triangle strip, it should fit right in. Now this part can be complicated, but you're going to want to tape the triangle in a tiny bit less than the base, if that makes sense. I'm going to freeze the screen here, so when you tape the triangle in, it's just going to be a little bit less than the top of the base. You don't have to do this, but it allows the jaw to have more room to move. So now on the inside, you're just going to tape your little flaps down when you get it to where you want it. You're going to put tape on right where I'm pointing to. Then you'll do that on both sides of the triangle. You can put as many pieces of tape on as you want, but I like to do 2 or 3 per side. Now that little placeholder piece of tape, I guess you could call it, you can just peel that off. You can either save this and reuse it for a later piece of tape, or you can just throw it away. Now you'll tape the outer edges of the triangle, / just follow what I'm doing here. I also forgot to mention, but you can also just glue this triangle in too. Now you'll take the other strip of paper that you did earlier, and you're gonna make that one a little bit thinner, if that makes sense. So basically just measure it kind of on top of the other triangle that you just did and tape it the same way you did with the other one. It should fit inside the other triangle with some wiggle room. Now you're going to do the exact same step with the 1/4 little ring around the triangle. Fold the edges and just tape it right on. For this one, you might have a little excess little piece of paper kind of strip on the back. Just cut that off. However, for this one, you're just going to do it on the other side too. So basically your bottom jaw is just going to have 2 triangles, kind of be like a little triangle box. Here's what I was saying what you could do with the glue. I personally don't usually use glue for dragons because I don't have the patience for it to dry. But if you do choose to use glue, then you can just take a pencil and just flatten it out. When I do use glue, I usually just tape it just for extra precautions. And then you should have your bottom jaw done. Now you have the top and bottom jaw of the base. Now you're going to put the top jaw on top of the bottom jaw, if that makes sense, and just put one piece of tape in the middle, just hanging over the edge. Now you'll flip that over so the hollow edge is on the table, and you'll put the bottom jaw on top. Make sure it's centered because here is like the taping part, so you can't go back after this. Now you're just going to put more tape and fold it over on the sides, if that makes sense. And you should have something that looks like this. You can also open the mouth and put a piece of tape across the 2 jaws like I'm doing here. And now you have your almost completed base. But now we're going to take our paper from a few minutes ago, and we're just going to cut a little strip of paper like I'm doing here. Now this part can get a little complicated, but you're basically just going to fold it into a ring like I'm doing here and measure your 2 middle fingers. Then once you get the really good measurements, you're just going to tape it kind of like in that ring form. You should have something like this. Then, with the ring on your finger, you're going to just slide your hand in the base. You're going to hold it in place with your other hand and then just tape it right in where your hand was, basically. I really suggest adding multiple pieces of tape here. Anyways, now you should have something that looks like this, and this is your completed base. Now you can grab another piece of paper / a piece of poster board that I forgot to put in the materials list. And you can place your base right in the center of the paper or the side of the poster board, and you can just trace the top jaw of the base. Now, when you draw your dragon, you're going to want to make it bigger than this square. This will make it so the base doesn't show. Now here I'm just going to sketch out my design. Now you can also do that tracing method with the bottom jaw of the base. Then you can add fur, or you can just leave the bottom jaw as is. You can take your black Sharpie and outline the dragon. Now you can take your markers / colored pencils / crayons or whatever coloring material you have and color your dragon. You can cut out your details and your dragon, and voila! Just a heads up, you can also just draw your dragon on one piece of paper and not make any separate details. But here you can see I just cloned my details. Now that you most likely have one side of your dragon done, you're going to flip it over and trace it on another piece of poster board / paper. You can put your dragon up to a window if you know that technique, or you can just try and clone the details. You'll color your dragon like I did here, and you should have 2 separate mirrored faces. Now, as you can see, I didn't add an ear because I'm just going to do that on a separate piece of paper, but you can just draw your dragon with the ear on a piece of paper if you want. Now you have your 2 completed sides. Now you can take your bottom jaw and flip it over and do the same thing that we did with the face. You're probably wondering why I didn't color the bottom jaws yet. That's because these little zigzag details on the face, I wanted to continue onto the bottom jaw and make them perfectly line up onto each other. So I'll color the bottom jaws a little later. Anyways, now you're going to take the base and tape the face onto the base on the top jaw of the base. You can also use glue for this process. I personally like to fold tape over on itself and do it that way though. So then you just stick it on to where you want it, and you should have something like this. You'll do the same thing with the bottom jaw. And I actually forgot to mention this because the design actually fell off of the base, but make sure you tape the back of the dragon onto the base too. Anyways, now you do the exact same thing with the other side, and you should have something like this. Now I'm just going to color the bottom jaws real quick, and here is the finished result of my dragon. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial, and I hope you guys found it really helpful. If you're confused on anything, just let me know in the comments and I'll try and get back to you. Also, let me know if you guys want more tutorials like this. Anyways, again, thank you guys for watching, and I hope you guys found this helpful. Be sure to subscribe.